Welcome to another class on computer networking. In this session, we will see protocols and standard. What is a protocol? Nodes involved in data communication. Here in this picture, these two PCs should agree upon certain rules. That is, regarding data transmission, what is to be transmitted, how it is to be transmitted, when is to start, when is to stop, etc. So many questions are there. All these questions, answers to all these questions forms protocols. Nodes involved in data communication should agree upon these rules, or these rules are in general called as protocols. A protocol means a set of rules before transmission of data. Both nodes or all nodes, this can be rewritten as all nodes, need to agree upon certain rules. These rules may include answers to the questions what, how, when, etc. To whom. All these comes under protocols. Protocol consists of mainly three things. Syntax. It implies the structural format of the data or the order in which they are presented. How data is arranged. That forms syntax. Next is semantics. It refers to the meaning of bits, that is individual bits, how they are decoded. A particular combination, how it is decoded. That all comes under semantics. Timing consists of synchronization information such as when, how fast, something like that. Protocol consists of mainly three things: syntax, semantics, and time. Now, how these protocols are implemented? We will see a rough idea. Some additional bits are transmitted along with the data. Suppose this computer wants to communicate, this PC1 need to communicate with PC2. Its data is decoded into binary, and such a data we obtained. Along with this data, some additional informations are added, and it is made as a frame or packets. And these additional informations, called as overhead, or simply we will call it as header, will contain all the necessary informations regarding the protocol what this PC1 is using. I am using these protocols. I am using this address, and I want to send this to this address. All the informations related to the protocol are transmitted or informed to this PC along with the data using additional bits called as header. Each packet from the beginning to the end, that is from the start of the communication to the end of the communication, header are appended to the data. Always some header will be sent, and these headers will be taken together and analyzed by the protocol section of this PC. And this PC will come to know regarding all the informations on how this PC is transmitting by analyzing or decoding these overheads. These extra bits are overheads or header, or these pertains to protocol related things, additional informations. And how these are decoded, that forms the protocol. That is, earlier slide we have seen syntax and semantic. Syntax forms how the data is arranged in these frames, overhead, data, how they are arranged, which portion we need to look for overhead, which portion we need to look for data. All these information forms syntax, and semantics forms how, from if this area is a particular combination of bit, this thing is to be done. If it is some other combination, that thing is to be done. Such informations are semantics. And syntax and semantics forms how the protocols and data are arranged in data communication frame. Now, both hardware and software involved in data communication should adhere to the protocol in which it is designed. That is, the main protocol used for, or main protocol suite used for internet is TCP/IP. The PC should be installed with TCP/IP softwares. All the as and when this PC will be having a LAN card or a LAN port or Ethernet port or Wi-Fi port, as and when its driver is installed and the software is ready to use, all the protocol suites related to this TCP/IP is implemented in this PC. That is, protocol is implemented by using a hardware part and a software part. Most of the things are software in nature. Some last end portion will come as hardware. All the nodes, not only the computers, but also the routers, hub, servers, everything inside the network should adhere to the protocol which it is using. Both hardware and software. Hardware are LAN port, motherboard, etc. Software includes from driver softwares to application software, the last end software which PC uses to communicate, such as web client, email client, web browser. All those comes under protocol suite. Now, next is standards. So many companies and nations are involved in telecommunication and networking. To interoperate, all these researches and development should be standardized. There are some bodies which issue standards, and all these companies should follow those standards. Standardization is required to ensure interoperability among manufacturers. This is essential for competitive environment in research and development. If it is not following standard, one country, if China is developing in some format and the USA is developing in some other formats, it will be very difficult to interoperate, or they will be having some partiality towards development and all those things. That is why everything should be made on certain standards, and some bodies are there to issue standards. Standards in layman language ensures that PC, hub, router, etc. can be interconnected to form a network irrespective of which company it is manufacturing, operating system, which operating we use, Windows, Linux, whatever you can use, geographical or linguistic boundaries, this irrespective of the language you are using, internet. All these are possible, all these are made possible. How the present internet looks like now is achieved by these standards only. Now, standards can be of two types: de facto standard and de jure standard. De facto standards are those standards which are made as standards by its wide publicity and usage. That is, first it was implemented, then it became very popular. Implemented, very popular. Its popularity make it as a standard. Such standards are called de facto standards. They are standards due to their publicity and wide usage. Need not be approved by any organization. Some other standards are there. They are called de jure standards. They are implemented by law or by regulation. Some organizations are there. They issue some regulations, and according to that regulation, some standards are approved. Those standards are called de jure standards. They are legalized officially, legislated officially. Many agencies are there, those who are issuing guidelines in telecom and internet. First among is ISO, International Organization for Standardization. This is a body which standardize things in all fields of day-to-day life. Some standards, business standards, something like ISO 9001, 2000. So many things are there under the banner of ISO. In the area of computer networking, they implemented the first OSI layer architecture, which is pertaining to computer networking. That is their rule in computer networking. ISO organization implemented, or they constituted the standard of OSI layers, still used for computer networking. The next organization is ITUT, International Telecommunication Union, Telecom Standards. They issue standards related to telecommunications, Ethernet, SDH, DWDM. So many standards are there which are recommended by ITUT. They will issue some papers, they will publish some papers regarding all the features, what features are to be included, what bits are to be used, how it is to be used. Everything should be made according to their regulations. That is the role of ITUT. And third one is American National Standards Institute. They also issue some protocols. IEEE, Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. Then Electronic Industries Association. These are all the institutions centered in America and operating worldwide. This Electronic Industries Association issues standards mainly related to interfaces, that is electronic pins, port, something like that. Now we will see network model. Instead of handling all the tasks together, we will take a layered approach in network design, or a PC. This PC is to be made part of a big network. This is a big network, and this PC is to be made part of a network. There are so many things to be done by this PC and the nodes of this network. There are so many tasks to be done by each one. All those tasks are made into individual tasks, several individual tasks named as layers, and each layer will take care of the duties related to that layer. For example, this PC, it is to be connected to internet. How it is connected? Whether it is wired, it can be connected wired, it can be connected wireless. If it is wired, what is its bits representation? Whether it is 0 1, whether the 0 corresponds to 0 voltage, or what modulation is to be used. We have studied digital modulation and all. What modulation is to be used. All those things will be, all the physical things will be taken care of the last layer, or the layer which is responsible for the final things. And what software is to be used? Internet Explorer or Google Chrome, web browser, Mozilla, which software, how it is implemented. All those things come under the top layer, and this task, variation task, addressing schemes to be used, how it is to be named, addressed. So many PCs nodes are there, all of them has to give some address. How these addressing schemes are done, that addressing will be done by some other layer. Or what I mean to say is, all the tasks to be done by this PC is divided into small tasks, and these small tasks are assigned to some layers, some individual layers. The total tasks will be divided into well-defined tiny individual parts or layers. That is, function of each layer is well defined. What is to be done by this layer? What is to be done by second layer? Like that, the functions are well defined. The layers will be connected by well defined interfaces. Interfaces are to be standardized, and they are to be well defined. How to connect or how to communicate between these two interfaces. All these should be well defined. This is also called as the layered model. In layered model, that is, all the functions are divided into small tasks, and these are handled by individual layers. The characteristics of the layer are individual parts are well defined, and they are connected by well-defined interfaces. The advantage of layered model: it gives well-defined functions for all layers. All layers functions are well-defined, 1 2 3 4, like that. Changes are easier to handle. That is, I told, all the things related to the physical media will be taken care by the last layer, or physical layer, we will tell, one layer. Suppose we have to change from a wired media to a wireless media. All other things remain the same. Only this layer corresponding to which the media things are taken care of, that layer only to be modified. That is the main advantage of layered model. That is, its small changes are easier to handle. Any change required in addressing scheme, we need to include more number of computers, or the address schemes exhausted. We have to implement a new addressing scheme. The only layer which take care of addressing mechanisms, that need to be changed or updated. All the other layers can be kept intact. That is the main advantage of layered model. Changes are easier to handle. Subdividing the individual layer for incorporating a new different function. Suppose we require a new function. That function comes under which layer, or comes between which layer? We can subdivide that layer. Some more application things are to be included. Some new applications are to be included. We can subdivide this application layer, or the first layer, and we can make new applications. By subdividing the individual layer for incorporating a new different function. where that function is to be incorporated. That layer can be divided into two layers. Can bypass if a function is not required. Suppose we formed a layered architecture, and due to some advancement, mainly the advancement in this layer, may make this layer as irrelevant. It can be made so. So if that is the case, this function is no more required means we can simply bypass this layer. Layer can be bypassed if a function is not required. All researchers will be oriented in the same direction once it is standardized. That is, a company who is in the field of this physical layer or the media, or who is implementing some optical devices, they need to take care of only the things in this layer, because the interfaces are well defined. How this layer is to be communicated with the next top layer, that is well defined already. So whatever development they are making will not affect the top layers. They can concentrate their whole strength or their whole resources in the development of this particular layer, or in which they are specialized. That is the foremost advantage of layered architecture. That is, a company who is involved in certain functions can concentrate and specialize in their field and make new inventions, because they need not care of the other areas. All researchers will be oriented in the same direction once it is standardized. These are all the layered model advantages. Now, the first layered model in computer networking was established by International Organization for Standardization, ISO. They formed a committee in 1977 to discuss communication of computers, and OSI, or Open System Interconnection, was developed. OSI reference model, it's a reference model, was approved internationally. Term open denotes the ability to connect any two systems irrespective of the manufacturer or geographical linguistic differences. The OSI is a 7-layer model. OSI consists of 7 layers. That is, whatever tasks is to be done for internetworking millions of computers around the world, that is internet, how the functions are done. All these functions are divided into 7 layers. These are the first letters of 7 layers. They are application, presentation, session, transport, network, data link, and physical layer. All the tasks to be done by the nodes are divided into 7 layers, 7 small manageable problems. These are the layers: application, presentation, session, transport, network, data link, physical. This is the lowermost layer, or also called layer 1, and it deals with the transmission media or physical interfaces. And the topmost layer, application layer, this deals with application softwares, mainly application softwares such as web browser, FTP client, emails client. So many things are there now. To achieve different applications, we use different application softwares, and all these application software forms the topmost layer, layer 7, and the media, physical media or the transmission media, comes under physical layer, and all other functions come in between. This is the layer which is more related to hardware, and this is the layer which is more related to the software. These 3 layers are completely implemented by using software, and this is mainly hardware, and these layers are implemented by using both hardware and software. These 3 layers are used for addressing and all those things. We will discuss the functions of each layer in detail in later class. For the time being, understand that this layer, or layer 1, is the layer which is more near to the transmission media, and the application layer is the topmost layer, which is more related to the software side, and all other functions come in between. How these softwares are implemented, these protocols are implemented. It is also called a peer-to-peer model. That is, two PCs are communicating. This may be in India, it can be in USA, anywhere in the world. Two PCs. The PCs works in all the 7 layers. PC works in all 7 layers. It has all 7 layers inside. This PC also has 7 layers. That is, all the functions divided into 7 layers, and all the 7 functions are to be done by this PC. There is a virtual communication between each layer of this PC to corresponding layer of this PC. That is, what protocol it is used in application layer. That header, as I already told, protocols are implemented by using some headers. Some header will be added, and that header, or we will say as header 7, that header 7 will be analyzed only by the application layer of this PC. That is, there is a virtual connection between each layer of one node to each layer of the next node to which it is communicating. That communication is called peer-to-peer communication, or this is also called as a peer-to-peer link. There is a communication between one layer to the very next layer. This application layer directly communicates with the presentation layer of that layer, then bottomwards, like that, in the same fashion here, like this. A virtual link is there from one layer of layer 7 of this PC to layer 7 of this PC. Virtual link. How OSI layers are implemented? All the protocols are implemented, as I have already told, by using some overhead informations which are called header. First, the data to be sent to this PC is added with 7th layer header or application layer header, and it will be given to presentation layer. This presentation layer treats this together as its data, and all the analysis or whatever task is to be done is done on the data, and a header called presentation header will be added, H6, and it will be handed over to session layer. Then it will add its own header. Like that, headers will be added by each layers. That is, the task related to this layer is done by this layer, and a header is added on that, and the corresponding header will be decoded by the corresponding other node which is handling. Finally, after addition of all the headers of 7 layers, it will come to physical layer, and the physical layer convert it to bits and is given to transmission media, and media takes it to the next node. The bits are analyzed, headers are decoded one by one at a time. The header H2 is analyzed by the second layer, and it will understand what is to be done in that layer, and that function will be done. It will pass on to next layer. It will analyze its header H3. It will look for H3, analyze H3. What is to be done, or what is told by this PC is done by this one, and it will hand over to the next layer. Like that, the data will be finally reaching this PC. This is the implementation of OSI layers. This is how it is done. There is a virtual connectivity between the layers, corresponding layers, or the same peers, same layers virtually communicate with each other by means of header. This header will be analyzed only by this layer. That is how OSI layers are implemented. Why these much hurdles and these much headers and all comes into picture? Because internet consists of billions of computers. Billions of computers. Computers are there, routers are there, gateways are there, servers are there. It is a total mess of things. To handle that mess, we have to take a standardized approach. That is why this is becoming this much complicated. To reduce such complexities, we form a layered architecture, that is, the functions are divided into layers. The nodes can work in all the layers, or there are some nodes which will work in only some layers. For example, consider a repeater or an amplifier. Repeater or an amplifier. Its duty is to simply amplify or repeat the bits. This media is very long. This distance is some 200 kilometer. Optical fiber system can work up to 100 meter. So one repeater is required in the middle. That repeater need not look into all these headers. Its only duty is to just repeat. So this repeater will work only in this header, that is the header related to physical bits and all. That is, or in other words, there are some devices which can operate up to only certain layers. Example is a repeater or a hub which works in the first layer or physical layer. Its duty is to simply repeat the things. That hub need not go into inside of all these headers. Simply look this header, repeat the data, add its other header and send the data. Or it will see only the first layer, or it works in the first layer. There are some devices which works in first layer. There are some devices which can work up to second layer, up to third layer, like that. This is such an example. These are two routers. Routers can work up to the third layer. These things we will see in detail later. For the time being, just understand that there are some devices which can operate up to certain layers, or that much task is required by that device. This device is meant for switching and other things, data transfer, packet forwarding, something like that. It requires only headers up to this layer. So a connection is there between these two devices. That connection limits in the third layer. It doesn't see the 4, 5, 6, 7 layers headers. That is, these two nodes, they are some nodes used for interconnection purpose, and that node will look only up to the third layer. Such nodes are there. They are called routers. All these things we will see in detail. The communication is like this. PC1, its application layer, will take the data. It will be given to presentation layer, then session layer, then transport layer, network, data link, physical, like that. It will go over the media to the physical layer of N1. Then the physical header by this PC1, physical header, will be analyzed by this device. The data link header will be analyzed by this device. The network header will be analyzed by this device. Or in other words, there is a network layer peer-to-peer connectivity between PC1 and N1. Data link layer peer-to-peer connectivity between PC1 and N1. Like that. But the 4, 5, 6 and 7 layers will be only decoded by the PC2, or the peer-to-peer connectivity in the transport layer is between PC1 and PC2. These two devices are only the devices capable of handling the higher layers, or peer-to-peer virtual connectivity exists in 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7 layers between PC1 and PC2. Like this, the connectivity is established. Just understand that communication is between PC1, final communication is between PC1 and PC2. These nodes are just for interconnecting purpose. Two types of links are there. that is from layer to layer, from the bottom layer, from the top layer to the bottom layer, like this, between adjacent layers, or and a virtual connectivity is there between the same layers of adjacent devices. This is how the OSI layers are implemented. We will see the individual layer functions, what are all the functions done by each layer, and all other specifications in a detailed next class. For the time being, just understand these much things. There are 7 layers in the OSI model. There are application, presentation, session, transport, network. You can remember this by using the first letters A, P, S, T, N, DP. Application, presentation, session, transport, network, data link. These 3 are software layers. These 3 are used for interconnection purpose, and this comes in between. Thank you for watching the class.